My specs are like squint. Fix, please. There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel today. As you can tell by the title of the video, we've got a very exciting one for you. The most basic of videos that I could have potentially made. But I know Football Manager isn't for everyone who's subscribed to the channel. That's quite clear by the views, the engagement. Not everyone's into gaming. Not everybody wants to sit and watch 20 minutes of me just sitting kidding on. I'm the manager of Celtic. So I've decided that, you know, at least once or twice a week during this whole lockdown and epidemic, that I'm going to try and upload something a bit more discursive for everyone to get involved in. I'll try my best at least. And that starts today by doing my first of a little realistical series, which I'll probably do once or twice a week. And it could be anything, so let me know in the comments below what you want me to do. Right now we're going to start with what was the most simple of ideas, and that was the top 5 greatest managers in the history of Celtic Football Club. But we could go down the route of top 5 players. It doesn't have to just be Celtic, it could be in Scottish football, it could be anything at all. If you want to see anything in particular, leave it in the comments below and we can keep this series rolling throughout the time of lockdown until I can get some football back to talk about, because it's quite difficult just now and I need to try my best to get some content up which can engage with my viewers. This might not work, it might, I don't know, this might get like 1,000 views and absolutely cripple my self-confidence when it comes to YouTube. I'm joking, but you know, it might not do well. I'm just testing it out. I feel like these top 5 videos aren't the most exciting, but at least gives my opinion on a few things, and you could just throw stuff out and a little bit of reminiscing in the past as well. So let's just get right into the video. Right, number 5 then, controversially, I know a lot of people will be clicking off the video already, but I've had to go with Brendan Rodgers. For as much as I despise the guy for the manner that he left Celtic Football Club and the way the events of his tenure came to an end, there's no doubt that he is up there in the conversation for modern day great managers at Celtic Football Club. The guy came in and absolutely transformed the club from head to toe. You know, he came off the back of an era that wasn't filled with a great deal of positivity in the media. There was a lot of judgment from everyone on Ronnie Dyer's term as manager, but Rodgers came in and despite a weird start losing to Lincoln Red Imps, which we won't talk about too much, he came in and won an invincible treble within his first season. The first time in modern Scottish football history a team went the entire season unbeaten in all competitions, and also got the club's first treble since the Martin O'Neill era. It was huge. He then went on to do it again and then left us on the brink of doing it again. The man was instrumental in leading us to a double treble and then on towards a treble. And despite the hatred that some people may have from nowadays and the stuff that may get said about him, there is no denying that the accolades at Celtic is enough to have him up here in the top 5 Celtic managers of all time. Now, I don't know what it will take for people like myself and other Celtic fans to ever forgive him. I doubt there will be a lot of forgiving in the near future with Brendan Rodgers, but he is someone who did command a team which was fantastic domestically. In Europe, there was a lot of question marks, but the stuff that we've seen was as close as what we'll get to probably that Martin O'Neill era in a long time. And Neil Lennon has done a fantastic job at carrying on that legacy that Brendan Rodgers left behind, and I think in the near future we'll be looking at someone, Neil Lennon, eclipsing him in this top 5 for his work at Celtic. But the players that he brought in, like Moussa Dembele, like Odsonne-Édouard, and the football he got them playing was something special. And while it was happening, we all loved it. We were all saying that he was one of the greatest. And I don't think, despite how much we may judge him, we should let the fact in the manner he left, you know, take that away. And that is an unpopular opinion. Don't get me wrong. I do dislike him for all of it, but we can't just ignore that 3 years in Celtic's history happened. At number 4, it is perhaps the most important figure in Celtic Football Club's history, the most influential man to ever grace the steps of Celtic Park, if there is any steps. Don't know why I said the steps, but it's Billy McNeill, obviously the man who's famous for lifting the European Cup back in 1967 as captain of the Lisbon Lions, but also a very important man when it came to the list of Celtic managers. A guy who had 2 terms as Celtic manager, but had a very successful career at the helm nonetheless. In his 2 terms, he won 4 league titles, 3 Scottish Cups and a League Cup, doing the double in the centenary year as well. And he kind of took charge after the kind of era that Rangers saw a little bit of dominance. You know, Jock Stein's era was done, Rangers started to, you know, go ahead again, but then Billy McNeill came in and he helped bring Celtic back a little bit, and in his 2 terms he was a very important man at the top of Celtic Football Club. This is a guy who, you know, will always be remembered as a Celtic legend. You know, losing him a couple of years ago was saddening to the world of football, never mind just Celtic. And what he done for the club is just, you know, I could talk all day. I've not got enough time to sit and list every single thing, but his record as Celtic manager as well was you know, more than good enough, with a 64% win rate in his first term, 55% win rate in his second term, and he did bring success to the club. I mean, this is, if you're talking the term Mr. Celtic, then over the course of our history there is only one, and that is Billy McNeill. You're talking about men who could have the term Mr. Celtic to their name. This is another guy who will always be etched in the history of Celtic Football Club, a man whose impact to a football team can probably be matched by not a lot of people, and that is Willie Maley, and he's in at number 3 on the best Celtic managers of all time, or the greatest Celtic managers of all time. This is a guy who arguably could be number 1, and I feel like it is kind of harsh having him at number 3, but obviously this is a long time ago. This is in the era before football was perhaps as competitive, as demanding, and filled with such talent as it is in the modern day. But everything that this guy has done for Celtic Football Club, put it this way, we wouldn't be here today. He was the first manager of Celtic and the most successful manager of Celtic. His record is absolutely bewildering. That is the word that I can think of for Willie Maley's time as Celtic manager. Spent an awful long time controlling the club, in charge of the football team. I mean, 16 league titles, 14 Scottish Cups, 14 Glasgow Cups. This is a man who forever will probably be unmatched in the Scottish game, especially at Celtic. And as he said, the club was his life, and without it his existence would be empty. He lived, breathed and died Celtic. He was undisputedly one of the most important men in this club's history. Now, it's not someone that a lot of younger people like myself would know a lot about, and I doubt a lot of people living will probably remember a lot about him, considering when he was in charge of the club. But he is someone who should probably have a statue outside the stadium. He should probably have a stand named after him. He, alongside Billy McNeill, is one of the men who you could say is a Mount Rushmore figure of Celtic Football Club. I mean, how many games he managed alone is absolutely incredible at Celtic. 1,611 games recorded as Celtic manager, winning 65% of them, is absolutely mad. And the only reason I've got him at number 3 is because of how football has evolved since then. But in terms of importance, you're talking about a man who's maybe number 1 or 2. He's just a legend, full stop. At number 2, it is the greatest Celtic manager of the modern age of football. You know, that kind of 1992 onwards, when television started ruling the game and money was flying about willy-nilly. And that is Mark McNeill. Mark McNeill is a man who will forever be loved by Celtic fans. We still talk about the success of the O'Neill era to this day, and we always will, because the team that Mark McNeill created at Celtic with his time in charge is probably the greatest team we're going to see in a long time, and nothing will match. I mean, the closest we've had to it is Brendan Rodgers' side, and even at that, it does not come anywhere near the quality of the Mark McNeill time. I mean, his team was just absolutely sensational. This is a man who brought Celtic back to being the most dominant team in the country, without question. Since Mark McNeil was at maybe a massive turning point in the entire Scottish game. When Mark McNeill came into Celtic, it was a very Rangers-dominated league. Rangers had been dominating the whole of the 90s. I mean, there's a Celtic daft thing for you, remember the 90s. Rangers had been dominating it all. As soon as Mark McNeill comes in, look at the sway of titles between the year 2000 and now. Look how many Celtic have won, look how many Rangers have won. And that's got nothing to do with Rangers, you know, getting put down to League 2 as well. It would be the same, if not close enough, if that never happened. It is madness how much the game changed between Celtic and Rangers when Mark McNeill was appointed as Celtic manager. His success, his statistics as manager, his accomplishments as manager will probably not be matched by an awful lot of people in the coming years. He was absolutely instrumental in bringing Celtic back to being the dominant force in Scottish football. His time at the club seen him win 3 league titles, 3 Scottish Cups, a League Cup, and even taking us to our first European final since the year 1970, since Jock Stein was in charge of the club. The players, the team, Sutton, Hartson, Larson, Lennon, Thompson, everybody that ever played in that Martin O'Neill era in the first team is just, it's an incredible side, and you're wondering to yourself, how did we not win that UEFA Cup back in 2003? It was saddening that we didn't win it, but it's the closest we're going to get to a European final. Well, we did get to it. We're never going to get that close again. I mean, that was something special, and I wish that I was old enough at the time to actually sit down and appreciate it. But Martin O'Neill will forever be a Celtic great. Another man who, you know, I would campaign for a statue for outside the stadium. We love building them, don't we? I mean, it was a sin he had to leave early. Obviously, his own life made his time at Celtic come to an end, but situations that were greater than football. But this is a guy who we'll never forget, and I don't think in any time soon we'll see anyone come near the stuff that he achieved. And finally, there was no question of who was going to be number 1 in the list of the greatest Celtic managers of all time. Jock Stein, the man who took Celtic to the promised land, the Lisbon Lions, you know, winning everything in the year 1966-67, 5 trophies, winning 9 in a row, being just the god of Celtic, you could say. There's words can't describe how important Jock Stein is to this football club. We'll never see anything like it again, this football club. We'll never see a European Cup win again with the way football is going, which is so sad, but it's the truth. And what he gave Celtic fans that year, I can only envy the people who were there to witness it live. I would kill to be in that situation. I would kill to see my team win a European Cup with my own eyes. But he was the genius behind it. He came in once again after a period of Rangers dominance. Celtic were hopeless. They couldn't boot their own arses. And Jock Stein comes in and takes Celtic to the first ever 9 in a row done. We're on the verge of seeing the third in Scottish football history, but does the first 9 in a row, wins cup after cup after cup, wins the biggest prize in football with a team of boys within a 50-mile radius of the same city. Everything that he done for this football club has shaped what we know as Celtic today, and there's a reason that he has been immortalised with a stand named after him, basically 2 stands named after him, a statue outside, and documentary after documentary after book after DVD. He is someone who will forever remain unmatched in the term Celtic Football Club manager. He is a god, as I said at the start, and we will see nothing like the accomplishments that he got with Celtic ever again. And I can only thank whoever decided to give that man the job as manager with my unconditional love, because the history that he has shaped at the club is what makes us today fall in love with Celtic, what makes us support this great club today, because of stuff like that, the stories, the history, the passion, and as he famously said, the football without the fans is nothing, and the way he makes fans fall in love with this club, just looking back on moments like that, will forever be unmatched. That does it then. That's my list of top 5 of the greatest Celtic managers of all time. A lot of ovs in there, I wasn't speaking right. But if you have enjoyed, make sure to hit like and subscribe. As I said at the start of the video, the way to get content now is going to be difficult. So I've decided to try and get some content out there by any means, by doing stuff like this. I know it's quite basic videos, it's not the most exciting of stuff. We already know who the best managers in the club's history is, but if I can add my opinion into things, if I can bring a little extra to the channel over these hard times, then that's what keeps me going, that's what makes me happy. I mean, at the end of the day, the reason I do YouTube is because I want to be able to do this full time at some point within my life, if possible, and the only way to do that is by getting content out there, even when the world is in turmoil. So if you have enjoyed, make sure to share out the video, hit like and subscribe, it would all be much appreciated, and I'll see you all next time.